This guy's either gonna think, here's another kid with a fake ID, or here's McLovin, the 25-year-old Hawaiian organ donor.
I am McLovin.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse is now nothing short of iconic as the quintessential high school dork in the beloved coming-of-age classic Superbad.
McLovin?
Yeah.
Just McLovin?
Yeah.
That's badass.
It is badass.
McLovin has crossed the threshold from goofy supporting character into the rarefied air of indelible sidekick. The fact that his character is so recognizable today comes directly from his on-screen chemistry with the film's co-lead Jonah Hill. But believe it or not, Mintz-Plasse and Hill purportedly hated one another. Was this off-screen acrimony essential to casting one of the quirkiest supporting characters in recent memory? Or is this dynamic part of the eternal challenge of casting the perfect sidekick? Before we get too deep into today's episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to Nerdstalgic for more videos just like this. The legend of Superbad is arguably as pervasive as the movie itself is revered. Today, it's thought of as one of the best teen comedies of all time. That's exactly what co-writers Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg were shooting for. So much so, in fact, that they started writing the film when they were in high school. They wanted to create a teen comedy with the hijinks and raunchy humor that accurately depicted what they themselves experienced but never saw on screen. The key to the film's success is undoubtedly the relationship between Jonah Hill's Seth and Michael Cera's Evan.
I love you.
I love you.
It's like, why don't we say that every day? Why can't we say it more often?
Boop, boop, boop.
However, the character that steals essentially every scene he's in, Christopher Mintz-Plasse's Fogel, aka
McLovin? What kind of a stupid name is that, Fogel? What, are you trying to be an Irish R&B singer?
They let you pick any name you want when you get down there.
And you landed on McLovin.
While it was pretty apparent from the get-go that Cera and Hill were perfect for their respective roles, it was the friction between Seth and McLovin that got Christopher Mintz-Plasse cast in the first place. In a Variety article celebrating the 15th anniversary of the picture, producer Judd Apatow described Mintz-Plasse's audition as very caustic, and he attacked Jonah and did improvs insulting Jonah. Director Greg Mottola in the same article remembered their dynamic similarly. He played it like he was clearly the coolest guy in the room and everyone else was a nerd and a loser. He was Dean Martin instead of Jerry Lewis. This was a bold choice for Mintz-Plasse considering it was literally his first audition ever, and both Hill and Cera were already seasoned actors. However, it was this hyper-confidence paired with the objective loser status of the character that got the unknown actor his shot at stardom.
Actually, Seth, I know you wouldn't know this because you're, stupid, but, Muhammad is the most commonly used name on Earth.
Surprisingly, despite acing the auditions, Mintz-Plasse was almost not cast in the film. Immediately following the group audition, Jonah Hill went to Rogen, Goldberg, and Apatow and said he didn't like Mintz-Plasse and didn't want him in the movie. He didn't like his energy. He didn't like that the newcomer was going out of his way to step on his lines and just generally get in his way as a performer. This antipathy and the vexation that it brought out in Hill's performance is exactly why the producers hired Mintz-Plasse for the role of McLovin. They could visibly see his jibes were making Hill lose his footing, and that tension sparked humorous asides and new narrative discoveries.
No one's McLovin. McLovin's never existed because that's a made-up, dumb fairy tale name, you
Jeez, man, it'll work. Give it a chance.
There are countless narrative tropes that milk this type of friction between characters to allow an audience into their petty frustrations. The trope of the annoying neighbor is a perfect example of how writers use characters that have objectively strange energy to make scenes more compelling. At the end of the day, that's essentially what McLovin was for the co-leads of Superbad. He was a wacky neighbor archetype transplanted into the world of high school.
I'm the one with the fake ID.
Well, then I'll cut your dumb little face off, throw it over mine, and get your ID and buy it my self.
When Apatow and company were casting McLovin, they weren't initially seeking out someone to mess with Jonah Hill. But that's what they found, and they were smart enough to realize what they had when they discovered it. The same can be said for many of the most memorable supporting characters and sidekicks. Take Seinfeld, for instance. The show is now remembered for being one of the greatest comedic ensembles of all time. But initially, it wasn't built to be that. It was a show specifically about New York-based comedian Jerry Seinfeld and where his stand-up material came from. In the pilot, the character of George just exists to give Jerry someone to talk to.
You're gonna over-dry it. You can't over-dry. Why not? Same reason you can't over-wet. See, once something is wet, it's wet.
However, over the course of making the first few seasons, Seinfeld and Larry David realized that the show worked better when the various performance styles of the three supporting characters came together to surround Seinfeld. And Seinfeld was smart enough to know that his acting chops weren't exactly the best.
I'm not buying it.
You're damn right you're not buying it.
You shouldn't have to try. It's just being open.
I'm open. There's just nothing in there.
In fact, the show experienced multiple types of growing pains while attempting to strike the right balance of who would be in each episode with the titular Seinfeld. In the season 2 episode, The Chinese Restaurant, Kramer was noticeably absent. Why? Because previously the character was conceived of being unwilling to leave the apartment building he lived in.
You know, I almost wound up going to that game. Yeah, you almost went to the game. You haven't been out of the building in 10 years.
However, after Michael Richards expressed frustration about being left out of the episode, the character trait was abandoned. A similar instance happened following the filming of the season 3 episode, The Pin, which follows Jerry and Elaine vacationing together in Florida to visit Jerry's parents.
Take the pen. Oh, no. Go ahead. I couldn't.
Come on, take the pen.
I can't take it.
Do me a personal favor.
No, I'm not
take
comfortable.
The pen.
I cannot take it.
Both George and Kramer are not in this episode. After it aired, Jason Alexander, who played George, did not take this well. He went to Larry David and threatened to quit the show.
I've got to feel that you can't do this without my character and my work being a part of it, because if I do, I just don't want to be part of it.
So as you can see, there's a delicate balance of getting the equilibrium correct in these scenarios. You want just the right amount of conflict, but not too much conflict. This is a dynamic that Larry David and Seinfeld were always in search of. Something strange and offbeat, but still recognizable. In fact, they always instructed their casting directors to bring in new and unique looking people in the hopes that they'd run across something previously unforeseen. Which is just one of the reasons that Seinfeld's supporting cast has a murderer's row of amazing character actors and unique personalities. They always made interesting and offbeat casting choices.
High five. On the flip side.
David,
Don't leave me hanging.
This ability to envision the possibilities for an actor beyond what a traditional Hollywood perspective on them would be is the key to many great writer and producers' careers. Apatow himself is a perfect example of this. He turned Seth Rogen, an actor that in previous generations would have been relegated to a reoccurring regular on a sitcom, into one of the most bankable comedic movie stars of a generation, and then not only encouraged but empowered him to write and produce his own material, giving him multiple avenues to succeed. And that ethos has been passed down to everyone involved in Superbad as well. Jonah Hill is writing and directing his own feature films. Michael Cera wrote on the most recent season of Arrested Development and directed multiple short films. The ability to construct a narrative, gather people in support of it, and then not hold too tightly to your initial vision and accept the things that are going to make it better is a rare one in Hollywood. It's this ability to treat it as something more improvisational that differentiates the good projects from the truly great. The fact that everyone involved in casting Superbad could look at the annoyance on Jonah Hill's face and see that this was only going to be good for the end product is exactly the type of vision we're talking about. Casting the perfect sidekick isn't an easy process. Casting one that's going to make a mark so memorable that we're going to be talking about it a decade plus later, that's almost impossible.
Break yourself, fool!
Tight.
And well, that's all we have for this episode. What do you think? Can you think of a comedic sidekick whose presence completely redefined a narrative? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, please be sure to like and subscribe to Nerdstalgic for more videos just like this one.